Is there a Stanley Cup final hangover for the Edmonton Oilers too?
No,
No?
I don't think there's a hangover. I just don't think they've found their game yet. And I think you both nailed it. It starts with their best guys. Like Leon Draisaitl sat there yesterday post game and said, I need to be better. I mean, the puck, fluky break lands right on his stick on a breakaway with a minute and a half left in the game, and it rolls off his stick. He never gets a shot on John Gibson, the goalie that he's probably had as much success against as anyone in the league, right? Just didn't bear down there, and whatever happened, happened. I mean, Connor McDavid hasn't scored a goal in 6 games to start the year. Mm-hmm. Maybe we shouldn't be surprised that they have a 2-3-1 record. You know, they went into last night's game or yesterday's game with the same amount of goals for as goals against. To be honest with your goaltending, which was considered to be an Achilles heel for the team in the eyes of many, has been fine. They got to get their offense on track. Bouchard not having a point through 6 games. You know, this is a guy the last 2 years. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head here. He had 82 and 67 points the last 2 years. He's the second highest scoring defenseman in NHL playoff history, points per game wise. He's not got going. Their power play scored 2 goals in the first game. It's got 1 goal in the last 5. Like, they got to get going here. And it's, you know, and I think for their team, some of it is generated from offensive confidence, right? Like, Chris has sort of tried to put in a stable base defensively, and I think they are a better defensive team than they were a couple of years ago. But I think those guys see themselves, you know, as offensive players that have to produce, and that's not happening right now.
Yeah. The other thing is, I don't think it gets mentioned very much at all, is that there are 2 coaches that were there last year that aren't there this year, Paul Coffey and Glenn Gulutzan. Does that make a difference?
Huge. And, you know, I'm not a person who necessarily believes that everybody has to sit there and 100% agree on everything, John. Okay? Mm-hmm. You can have strong personalities, even personalities that would be a little bit fiery with one another. That's fine. Like, Coffey took an atypical path. Like, it's not like he touched all the bases as a coach, but he played a long time and had a lot of experience as a player that he could transition into coaching. And I think Paul knew the simple, it's not a simple thing. I think Paul was taught something by Glenn Sather that helped him as a coach. And I think he knew how to breed confidence into his players. Because I believe for the Hall of Fame players for the Edmonton Oilers, Glenn Sather bred that confidence in those players because he didn't believe in breaking them down and building them up. That's not how he coached. He coached by saying, you're going to make, like, and maybe it was a byproduct of where the Oilers were at in their infancy back in the early 80s, but they were allowed to make mistakes. Just, you know, fix it, right? All right, you turn the puck over, go make a play for me. Make plays. And Paul wanted his defensemen to make plays. And I think that Kulak in particular last year he was playing 23 minutes a game. And it's ironic because Kulak's +4 this year through 6 games. And I think Brett would tell you he could play better. Certainly, the Nurse Stetcher pairings had some real issues, 5v5. Like, they're at like a 30% expected goals share. That's a tough number to have. And then, you know, Ekholm and Bouchard aren't having the productivity, even though they got the puck a lot. So, but I think they missed Paul in the back end. And then in Gulutzan with the other thing with Gulutzan is just he's been an NHL head coach, and Chris Knobloch could fall back on that in certain situations, right? So, I mean, what does it say about Glenn Gulutzan that the Dallas Stars fired him as a coach all those years ago? And then the same GM who made the change brings him back in to be a head coach. That tells you what people thought of Glenn Gulutzan around the league.